Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nixie coming back with another Bullseye tutorial here today on the channel. I'm really hyped to bring this one to y'all. It's gonna be the Lil Uzi Vert template. Lil Uzi, he's been in the game for a while now. You know, the most recent beats that he been rapping over, he switched those up, but his signature sound, that auto-tune, that melodic trap sound, that larger than life sound, Lil Uzi Vert is known to have. We gonna go ahead and jump on it right now today. So if you guys are interested in the template, you gonna see the link down below if y'all like it. And if y'all have any more different suggestions for artists y'all wanna see, go ahead and drop it down below. I'm more than happy to get to it. So let's not waste no time. Let's get to this Lil Uzi Vert sauce. Let's go. All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' V-Lo while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell at me at that tea with that eyes. Yeah, smoking that gang got me out like a kite. Yeah, too much sauce, yeah. Diamonds that wear like the sunny, more like Voss, yeah. That boy's on my chain. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Woo, I'm excited to bring this to you. So actually what I want to do is I want to compare this to Lil Uzi's original, verse and everything like that, just so we can see how close this is. Because, this song is kind of a little bit old, but I wanted to use this song for my lesson on how to get Lil Uzi because it's still relevant. So let's look at that. Yeah, all of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' V-Lo while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell at me at that tea with that eyes. Yeah, smoking that gang got me out like a kite. Yeah, too much sauce, yeah. Diamonds that wear like the sunny, more like Voss, yeah. That boy's on my chain, he said what's the cause, ayy. You want a nut in the mouth, can you count? All right, so yeah, that's the that's the comparison that we got right there. So as you can see, we're literally 100% accurate, spot on with Lil Uzi. And one of the most important things about Lil Uzi's sound is gonna be the auto-tune, of course. There's some people who try to say, oh, you can't put it on that aggressive retune speed, it's not gonna sound good. But here's the facts. If you want to get a smooth auto-tune sound, you got to get a good performance. You got to hit the notes and everything like that. Auto-tune is actually an art, So that's the thing about it. We had a 4 retune speed as well as kind of like 12 humanized, just something that's really aggressive. But at the same time, you hear it sound smooth. It don't sound too annoying because you got to give a good performance to the auto-tune. Some people say that, that's way too low, it's way too robotic, but sometimes as a rapper or engineer or as a human being in real life, you gotta point the finger to yourself. You gotta be like, damn, maybe my tune don't sound good, even though I have the same settings as the pros, because I gotta give a better performance. I gotta get better at rapping. It's really hard for people to do that, but once you start to do that, you start to be honest about yourself, your strengths and weaknesses. That's when you're gonna grow as an artist. That's when you're gonna grow as an engineer, rather than to be delusional. Like, that's the most important thing I want you guys to get out of this today is that, all of these tools that you have, they're just tools. Sometimes you don't always gotta use a hammer to bang in a nail. Sometimes you could just take a screwdriver with a big bottom and bang in a nail. So they're just tools. You gotta figure out how to use them and get the most out of your tools. So stop complaining. People are like, oh, Nick, if I just had this preamp into the CL1B, my vocals would sound perfect and I never have to mix again. You know what I mean? But when you do something like that, you're pretty much defeating yourself. You're pretty much going into the test saying, oh, I didn't study, so I'm gonna fail. But the reason why you're failing is not because you didn't study, it's because that you don't even believe in yourself. So, self-belief is pretty important when it comes to mixing, because if you don't think you can tackle this obstacle, well, guess what? You have zero chance. Maybe if you believed in yourself, now don't get too cocky, but maybe if you at least believed in yourself, maybe you would have at least a 10 or 25% chance. At least there would be a percentage of chance of you messing around and actually making it sound good and be like, whoa, this actually sounds good. You know what I mean? But when you already defeat yourself, that's the worst thing you could ever do. and not only mixing but life. So, you know, at least always believe in your damn self and give it your best effort every song. So let's go over this Lil Uzi template that we have right now. Let's play it before and after, okay? Cool. All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that, dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. Shit killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' me low while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell like. All right, so the most important thing is, you know, understanding the vocal that you're working with. Sometimes, you know, when you have a high voice, you know, I like talking about people who have high voices because they need this help. So if you have a high voice and you're using a lot of auto-tune, you got to understand that you're going to be in a tricky situation. Because sometimes when you're doing that aggressive tune like Lil Uzi or Youngboy, your voice is going to start sounding annoying a little bit. You know, I have that, some people, they with high voices, you know, they hit me up and, you know, I mix some songs for them and I let them know, hey, like sometimes at the cost of your voice already being bright, you already have the brightness in your voice, so you can't make your voice super bright. You know, there's a limit sometimes, and that's the main thing about Lil Uzi's voice is that I was going from a warming characteristic. So first thing I used was the SSL channel. As you can see right here, I wasn't aggressive with the low end. You know, this is probably like literally the only high pass filter that I had because I see that the beat is hitting hard, and I need Lil Uzi's voice to have some power because he has a high voice. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes presets won't work because it's all coming down to the person's voice, you know what I mean? So that's the thing about my templates. They're custom tailored to that sound, that style of voice, that getting that accurate Lil Uzi template and actually, you know, making something around his real voice. So yeah, you know, as you see right here, I did some boosting EQ. And the main reason is I was EQing into the compression, right? So I was boosting a little bit of presence, taking out a little bit of that, you know, that dirt out of his voice because I wasn't too aggressive with the lows. I only wrote off like what, 70 or 88 at the most. So that's something that you got to understand too, the person's voice and everything like that. And then we had the SSL compressor over here on the right hand side, just giving some of that little bit of that bite. That's the main thing I was going for Lil Uzi's voice, is I wanted to be present, I wanted to have weight, and I wanted to cut through the mix. Sometimes you got to understand the genre. This is rap music, so sometimes if you have a high voice, the 808 and the kick and everything is gonna like literally just bully somebody who has a high voice, just because, you know, sometimes the voice might lack power. So that is important to know about your processing. So let's listen to it with and without. All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that, dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. Shit killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce. All right, cool. So the next thing that we have right here is using something like the API 2500. So I was EQing into the compression, and I picked the API 2500 on purpose because it's an aggressive, snappy compressor that's known for giving some of that punch. You know, that's what you want. Sometimes if you want a vocal to cut through, maybe you should pick up a compressor that has the characteristics that will enable you to let the vocal be punchy and cut through and rip and still have a little bit of power, so the 808 and the kick don't swallow it. That's something that you got to understand. Mixing is all about situational awareness. You know, okay, I got this type of beat with this type of voice. Okay, I have this type of, you know, 808 with this type of person that has a deep voice. So I got to kind of like make it work off of each other. So that's something important to know. So let me play this with and without. Let's go. All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that, dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. Shit killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' me low while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell like me at that tea with that eyes. Yeah, smoking that gas got me all like it. That's the beautiful thing about the API 2500. It's just the fact that it also has an automatic makeup gain on it too. So if you wanted to go manual, you could. And I didn't use any of the analog because knowing it's Lil Uzi Vert, I still wanted to sound modern. And that's the thing, you know, we use the soft knee, which enables us to have like a smoother compression, you know, a transition pretty much. That's what the knee is, you know. And with the knee too, usually when it comes to vocals in the API 2500, I use like a soft knee and a normal thrust, you know. So if you wanted this to sound even more aggressive, you could click the thrust, which will ram into the you know, compressor different. It's kind of like if you're driving a car, right? If you're going slow at like, let's say 20 miles per hour and you hit something, it won't be as bad as if you hit it and you're going like 120 miles per hour. You know what I mean? So it could still be the same object, but it's how hard you're running into it. So that's something that you got to understand about compression. With the release time, it was very kind of, pretty decent. That's the good thing about the API. You can select between these step controls or this right here. And then the ratio of 4, I picked that on purpose because with a ratio like 4, it's going to make it sound a little bit more dense, So if I would have used something like 2, I could have still got the same amount of compression, but it would have sounded a little bit more skinny, A thicker ratio will make the vocal sound a little bit more fat. Sometimes you might have a knife that's sharp, but just because that knife is sharp, you don't want to just be cutting up everything, Sometimes you got to dull the knife down and everything like that. And after that, we had this C4, and the C4 is pretty good. It was just really controlling that low end. As you can see, I didn't want to touch Lil Uzi's mid-range because that mid-range is the power. That's the body. That's the soul of his vocal. Sometimes I will use a multi-band on the mid-range, but this is always a situation of just paying attention. Okay, he got a high voice, so I need all of that power. I need every single drop of gas that I can put in this car, which is Lil Uzi's voice, so I can take off with it, so it can still move and be very hard and solid. So I didn't touch his mid-range. His mid-range already sounded good. I only did a little compression on that lower spectrum and a little bit of top, kind of using this like a de-esser and a declogger.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' V-Lo while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell like me at that tea with it.
And as you can pay attention now, we kind of got like a slow release on the lower end of his vocal, just multi-banding it and really clamping it down. So we're adding some focus, some solidity to that lower part. We're gaining power with compression. So sometimes if you over compress, you can lose power, but if you do it the right way, you can actually gain power. And the part of gaining the power was a slow attack. You know what I mean? So sometimes a faster attack will be a little bit too grabby, a little bit too faint. It will kind of wash it away. It will take the low end and treat it like some clothes and put it in some fabric softener and wash it away so it can't really be too apparent. So that's kind of what we don't want if you use too much of a fast attack. That goes with any compressor. After that, we had like the CLA vocals as well. This is a pretty decent all-in-one plugin. And the good thing about it is you can pick what you want and what you don't want. So I know with this compression right here, this is like some type of parallel type of, heavy compression. And that heavy compression, being able to dry and wet, using it on some like CLA vocals is really good, really good. And let's listen to it with and without.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' V-Lo while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell like me at that tea with that eye.
So CLA vocals, absolutely incredible. We all know about that. But I was actually using this to reduce a little bit of the low end. You hear like the bass in his voice actually sounds a little bit more smoother. Let's pay attention to that one more time.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much.
So pretty insane, on this Lil Uzi vocal, of course, kind of like in general, what I do is I don't use too much high pass filtering on somebody who has a high voice, because that's the power. You got to understand what's the strengths, what's the weaknesses. All right, and after that, de-esser, Lil Uzi Vert, just another de-esser, but this one is just kind of like a stopgap because I'm about to go into the fresh air plugin. So I like to get the vocal just sounding really, really nice and prepared, like baking a cake or something like that. I've already done the process of putting it under the oven and cutting off the excess and doing all that. Now this is kind of like the frosting part, but before I apply the frosting, I got to take it out the oven. So that's what I use with a de-esser,
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though.
Just tickling the de-essers, And then after that, we have this fresh air plugin, which I love so much. Let's listen to it with and without.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' me low while I rock it up white.
So the Fresh Air is absolutely an incredible plugin, just due to the fact that if you have like a cheap microphone, it can give you some of that mainstream clarity, but you got to make sure that you take care of, like, quote unquote, the harshness or some of that graininess from your microphone that you get. Sometimes what you'll do is that you'll have like a Rode NTA, you'll start boosting and start doing all that boosting EQ, and then there's nothing there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like trying to pull vegetables out the ground when you didn't even plant them in the first place. So you got to take care of all of the processing in the very beginning, getting everything that sounds smooth before you hit the Fresh Air. Some people, they use it in a bunch of different ways, but I'm just telling you how I like to use it to juice up a cheap microphone to get in it sounding very close to Lil Uzi Vert, damn near exactly like Lil Uzi Vert. I'm just showing you my method, but there's a million different methods. So always keep your mind open with mixing. All right, then we have something like the RVox, and I love the RVox, kind of like my last vocal finisher, because it has that gate, it just helps tighten up the vocal.
Rockin' me low while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell at me at that tea with that eyes. Yeah.
So RVox is pretty important. Gating is pretty important, because if you do have somebody with a skinny voice, you might want to just make them come up to the microphone so the microphone can capture as much low end as possible, and that's the main thing. Sometimes a little bit of that headphone bleed can get in there. So these are situations that people don't really talk about. A lot of people on YouTube, I just feel like they don't talk about the recording process. But like, for example, if I know I have somebody in the studio who got a skinny voice, I'm going to tell them, yo, come up closer to the microphone, because I need more of that power. I need more of that juice. So I'm already aware of that type of stuff, but it comes with a trade-off. Sometimes they coming up close to the mic like this, how I am right now, and then that headphone bleed is coming in there. So it's good to use a gate on a vocal, even if you're like in a perfectly quiet booth and everything like that. So after that, we got something like the NLS bus, just really, taking the edge off of Lil Uzi's Vert. I love using saturation because it's just such a perfect way of just smoothing things out, just relaxing that top end, putting that top inside of like a steamer, a steam sauna type of situation, and just letting the pores open up for the top end. It does make it sound a little brighter, but it has a way of smoothing things out. So let's look.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' me low while I rock it up white.
I just love using this plugin. It brings that soul, the human element. So after that, we got a bunch of regular old H delays, nothing crazy to see here. The main thing I wanted to talk about too is, using this reverb, because at one point in time, I felt like Lil Uzi's voice was too upfront. Maybe because, I actually recorded it literally up front. So sometimes, reverb is not actually about hearing it. It's about setting things back in the mix. Like I said, using a little Tide detergent to make things sound a little bit more faint, to make it sound a little bit more washy. It pushes it back and makes it a little less too focused. You know what I mean? So that's why I use something like reverb to set Lil Uzi's voice back. So let's listen.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' me low while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell at me at that tea with that eyes. Yeah. Smoking that gang got me out like a kite. Yeah.
So that's the thing about being an engineer. You got to trick the human ear, Like if I'm in a real house with you and I talk halfway across the room, you're going to hear reverb. Your human ear is already programmed to know reverb, It already knows ambience and all that stuff like that. That's how we got to this point of evolution. So that's very important, Never let people just tell you, oh, this is a reverb. The only way you can use it is to make the vocal wet, and that's it. Like, don't listen to people, you can use it a bunch of different ways. It's not about always hearing it. Sometimes it's about proximity, setting stuff back, being methodical, knowing that, okay, he got a skinny voice. He need to come up to the microphone. So when I mix this bit, maybe I might have to use reverb to push it back, because I want him to come closer to the microphone so I can get the low end, but I still want the vocal to not sound like it's on top of the beat. So there's different ways to use all of this stuff, keep your head open. Then after that, we got the API 2500 on parallel compression, and I use the hard knee, like I said, to get a little more abrupt, to get a little bit more aggressiveness to Lil Uzi. So Lil Uzi could still sound swaggy, but not too swaggy. You know, he can still have a little bit of power too, you know, and that's what parallel compression is good for. I use the analog as well, kind of giving a little contrast. The lead vocal has that smooth top. No, the lead vocal has the bright top, but this parallel compression gonna be a little bit darker. Come on.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' me low while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell like me at that tea with that eyes.
Yeah, so, you know, like with the compression as well, pay attention to how I'm not crushing it. I'm not crushing it. You know, parallel compression is not all about crushing it. Sometimes it could be used as a way to give more color, you know, and that's why I use something like the manual makeup gain, like how I said before, and I pushed it very, very hard because I want to get some of that juice. I want to get some of that sauce. I want some of that garlic. You know, I want some of those mushrooms. I want some of those ingredients. I want some that's flavorful with taste. I don't want it to sound sterile and dull because that's not what life is about. You know what I mean? You go to a restaurant, they got all types of ingredients. You go out into nature and there's probably a tree with a couple different types of fruits, you know, maybe blueberries, strawberries. So that's what life is all about, flavor. And I put it into an L1 limiter because it's giving me some more of that digital grit. You know, digital distortion is not a bad thing if you know how to use it. Nothing is a bad thing if you know how to use it.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl.
So coming back to, you know, what sometimes, you know, people will maybe use it as a peak limiter, maybe because they don't want the parallel compression to jump up too much back and forth. Or sometimes you can just use it as a, you know, a little bit more saturation, a little bit of some of that crunch. And that's what I use that L1 for. So after that, you know, I use something like a measure flanger. I want Lil Uzi's song, his vocal to swim because I'm listening to the beat and the bitch is like woo 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 woo. So I'm like, all right, Pete, keep that same energy. So when I'm mixing the vocal, the beat is telling me, yeah, you know, make the vocal sound a little bit wavy with the beat that's already wavy. So that's something important to know too. It is something that you cannot really hear too much, but it actually adds a little bit of stereo spread. It kind of widens up Lil Uzi's vocal because, you know, the kick is down the middle, the 808 is down the middle, you know, the main melody is down the middle, and we just want to give it its own seat inside of the classroom.
All of my diamonds are shining, haters like knock that off. All of your diamonds are fake, need to stop that dog. You really kissing that girl like she ain't taught me though. She killing me with the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' me low while I rock it up white. Yeah.
So yeah, even though it's a flanger, it's not, you can't really even hear the effect of the flanger. Even when I cranked it up all the way to the tippity top, you couldn't even hear the effect of the flanger because I'm just using it in a different way. So let's look at how I was able to do these ad-libs. Let's listen to what they sound like in the mix real quick.
With the haters, cause I'm blocking y'all. Yeah, that's too much sauce, yeah. Rockin' me low while I rock it up white. Yeah, she smell like me at that tea with that eye. Yeah, too much sauce, yeah.
And with the ad-libs, you know, I just kept it real simple, just a little REQ, you know, not even trying to do that little radio effect, just a little, you just rolling it off, setting the ad-libs back, pushing a little bit of top. And then after that, I had something like the RVox, you know, tighten them up. And then I used the CLA vocals, you know, just to, you know, it really enhanced it. I picked the reverb from the CLA vocals. I liked it a lot. And with that high shelf, you can just hear more of the air from, you know, these type of ad-libs. So, you know, CLA vocals pretty dope. It was driving the song. After that, I used something like the NLS bus. I used the Spike, which is modeling a SSL console. This one is modeling an EMI. This one is modeling a Nevo. So yeah, and then we had the H delay, nothing crazy. We used actually a dotted eighth, which gives a new rhythm. And then last thing, you know, we had an SSL doing some parallel compression on the ad-libs, you know, just adding some of that weight.
Yeah, too much sauce, yeah.
Actually going as far as the red light literally digital distortion, digital and analog distortion together. So yeah, you know, that's pretty much the end of the video that I have today. I didn't want to make this video too long, but damn, like all of my videos, they're always in depth and I go into everything. And that's what I got to do for my subscribers. I appreciate you, my YouTube family. Don't forget to check the link down below. You know, I always got to slide out. I can never shortcome my YouTube family because I appreciate you guys so much, you know. So like I said, you know, I'm here for you guys, you know, Nixon, I be mixing. I'm here to help you guys. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate you guys now. Peace.